Good morning, Conversational Chaos fans, and welcome back to another edition of Conversational Chaos, the intelligent ramblings between Jason and the Rage Monster. Rage Monster's in the studio with Jason this morning, and we have a great show for you today.
It's going to be exciting.
It is going to be exciting. You know, I didn't have energy when I walked into this room, but I have energy now. I don't know what it is that you did, but...
6 restarts of your computer is probably what did it.
Maybe that was it. All right, so what do we got today? Oh, we have some pre-stuff you wanted to go through. Didn't you have a couple of things you wanted to go through?
I do.
Okay.
All right, so first thing, we have some new business cards.
Oh, yeah. We
Version
have new business
2.
Cards. Yep. V2.
Yeah, so if you are... Well, we'll get to that in a second. So in response to the new business cards, I went on a 7-state media tour to promote Conversational Chaos. I had Maryland, Delaware, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, West Virginia, I've lost count, Ohio, New York. Distributed cards all over the place. So if you see one of those states, or you're listening because you found one, let us know. Let us know if that's a worthwhile endeavor. Because we're about to embark on another one. And if people find them, then that's great.
I will be embarking on a media tour myself.
Yeah?
Yeah. I will be hitting upstate New York, Adirondack region. And I will be Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine.
Good.
Next week.
Awesome.
Yeah, it'll be entertaining.
All right. So while I was on the tour, I got to meet several of our fans too. And they had some comments I wanted to give back. The first one was we were talking about... Now, I'm going to try and remember these because I didn't write them down when people were talking to me. This was several days later when I decided to make notes. So
it's like young people who start to work for me.
Yeah.
One of the first things that I make them do is write down everything. Because they never remember anything.
I do that at work, but not on fun times.
So, Jason, you got to start writing everything down.
Yeah.
I know you do. You have your notebook.
I do.
You're always scribbling.
It was vacation time, too, though, so I didn't bring it.
Ah, okay.
I wasn't carrying it around with me.
I'll give you a pass.
I used to carry around a notebook and a pen all the time, everywhere I went. That was fantastic. Not anymore, though. Anyways, back to the comments.
Comments.
Right. So the oil fields in the Great Northwest in Southwest Canada.
Yeah.
There was a mistake in our podcast that was brought to light. So and this is, hopefully I get this right, but the northern oil field is the dirty one. The southern Bakken is the sweet oil.
Yeah, they have different types of oil.
But I think we had them reversed. Or you had them reversed.
Don't point fingers. No, my only comment with the Canadian, I don't even remember what episode that was. I mean, that was so long ago.
Yeah.
Really, the point behind that comment was we were specifically talking about the Chinese trying to buy the rights to the oil sands. I don't think we specifically said whether they were northern or southern. I just know that they have a ton of it. In Canada, the Chinese were trying to buy the rights to it. So, but that's good information to know, the dirty oil.
Yeah.
So that's the northern fields are the dirty fields, and the southern fields are the sweet crude fields. Okay.
Yes, southern is sweet.
Okay.
All right. The next one. So we brought up about what these topics are going to be that we periodically revisit. Like the data is beautiful.
Yeah.
So we got a suggestion that we call them the ramblers.
Okay.
So when we have a rambling topic,
like we don't already ramble.
This is a focused rambling.
Other than intelligent rambling.
Right. It could be intelligent.
So this is a focused, intelligent rambling.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Next one. We have a request for a special guest from Noah the historian. And he said he has specific questions for the Rage Monster. I asked him what those questions are, but he wouldn't tell me. He has some scheduling issues with us, so it may be quite some time before we can have him on the podcast. That lines up with our guest time slots.
We'll get that figured out.
There are requests to be special guests, which is kind of interesting. Someone wants to put themselves in that position.
Somebody wants the rapid questions, I guess.
Yeah. Maybe they want to see the live Reddit reading.
You know, eventually we really got to start recording these sessions video.
Next topic.
Yeah.
Apparently, the random topic generator is a hit. People really enjoy it. They wanted to know more about it.
Well, of course,
they wanted to come back more.
There wouldn't be a show without the random topic generator.
Well, it's only shown up twice.
Well, that's not true. I think it's shown up several times.
No, we've only kicked it off twice.
Okay.
The other things are just random topics, but we never used the generator.
Okay.
And apparently the first one was quite interesting with the lightning fields. People like that one.
Yeah, and surprisingly enough, with the previous edition, Ride the Lightning, well, I can't even say that now, because now episode 22 is dropped, so that's Guns and Arrows.
Oh, yeah.
Ride the Lightning, which sort of rehashed some of that lightning stuff, didn't get nearly the play that the lightning field did.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that plays out.
Yeah, that's kind of disappointing, because I really like lightning, so...
I can, if you're trying to make it at home in your microwave, I'm
going to build one of those giant Van de Graaff generators.
You should.
In my backyard.
You totally could.
Yeah. I know I could. Like the big one, like when you see Tesla with his picture and he's got the giant one, he's sending the waves through the earth. That's what I want to do. One day.
I don't think the county would allow that.
But there's no specific requirement for a permit for that.
Have you checked?
There's like sheds and fences and there's no, you're going to build a giant electronic device in your backyard.
I'm sure somebody would have something to say.
I don't know about my neighbors. They're pretty laid back. I mean, I had the one that was lighting fireworks off his deck, but he has since moved.
That's wise.
Yeah, and burning his dining room furniture on a burn pile in his backyard. He did get the fire department to come by. He was burning his fire in his backyard. This is an aside here. And it was a good 10 feet tall. It was a big fire. And in the county, you're not supposed to burn outdoor fires like that, like leaves and stuff like that. So someone had called the fire department, but before they had called, I had gone over and asked him what was going on. So I'm standing on on my side of the fence, and he's on the other. He's telling me he works for the Department of Natural Resources. He knows how to burn fires safely. This one's not the problem. It's not getting out of control. And it's like 10 to 15 feet tall.
That's out of control.
A little bit. The fire department shows up. They're on the other side of his fence, like by his front house. And they're yelling at him. He's like, I wonder what those guys are yelling about. Like, well, I think they're here because of your fire. He was drinking a little bit too much, too, at the time. So, but yeah, he was also the one that lit fireworks off of his... He lit fireworks off of his deck, and he also put one of those metal burn pits up on his deck as well. I don't know if that's such a smart idea.
That's a terrible idea.
But he has since moved, and we have neighbors that have some nice big dogs. 3 of them. Dagwood? No.
Dagwood's the sandwich.
That's the sandwich. The big sandwich. Marmaduke. They have 3 Marmadukes.
Oh my God, really?
Yeah. They are
Marmaduke's a big old hound dog, right?
It's like a really big one.
Yeah.
Dobermans or something, I think they're called.
No, Marmaduke's not a Doberman. Marmaduke's a hound dog. Got big old floppy ears, right?
No. Marmaduke's the big one. That's like a horse.
Oh, like a Great Dane.
Bigger than a Great Dane.
Like a Mastiff.
No, leaner, but taller. Do you not know what Marmaduke is?
I know. I haven't seen Marmaduke since I was a kid.
I don't know what it is then.
Okay, so we've derailed.
Yeah. Oh, anyways. Sorry, back to the top. Snickers. We had the question about Snickers and Twix.
Yeah.
Snickers apparently is the most popular candy bar and the most requested from Survivor losers. So, remember the show Survivors? I don't even know if that's still on TV. Did you ever watch it?
Show Survivor?
Survivor.
I watched the first season.
Yeah, were they like the competition?
And then realized how silly it was, and I've never watched it again.
Well, it's silly for you, not for everybody. It was popular.
I know, but it's still silly.
But anyways, when they get voted off, apparently like the first thing they asked for is a Snickers. Because they don't have that stuff on the island. They have to do without.
Would you ask for a Snickers?
I'm more of a Milky Way fan.
Say it ain't so, Joe.
Especially the dark Milky Way, although it's a little bit too far.
I love dark chocolate. I'm not going to lie about that.
There were several stories of spouses yelling at their phones and asking what's going on. So, like, one person would be yelling at their phone, and the spouse would ask, what's going on? Oh, I'm listening to Conversational Chaos.
Who's yelling at their phone while listening to our podcast?
It's more than one person. New business cards. So if you would like to disperse some of our business cards, if you drop us an email, maybe we'll send a shipment out. Include your address. That would help. Maybe we'll send you a small stack. We still have some of the edition 1 business cards, version 1s, laying around too.
We'd probably send a mix.
So yeah, there's a little bit of both. Yeah. But check out our Instagram. We'll put a picture on there of our new business cards. Oh, we did get a gift. I didn't bring it in today.
What? We got a gift?
We got a gift.
Know?
Yeah, in response to Harry's episode.
Okay.
And our office etiquette, we got a gift of rubber gloves, like a box of like the doctor gloves, and a bottle of Purell.
Okay, the Purell I can get behind. The rubber gloves, those are just kind of creepy.
Well,
but I appreciate it. I appreciate the sentiment.
And last one was knowledge norms.
Yeah.
There was the trivia question about the sheriff from the Wild West. Do you remember that one?
Was this the judge question?
Could be.
Bean?
Again, I don't remember most of their old episodes.
Okay.
It was like, what is this person's name? Last name?
And said, law west of the Pecos. Yeah. That was the question.
And you said, who's ever going to pull this one?
Yeah.
Remember that? Apparently he was on a TV show way back in the day. Like he was a major character. So it's not an uncommon question. But,
so I'm guessing
one of our fans said, hey, I know that answer. Because it was on TV.
Was it the Magnificent Seven or...
I didn't write everything
Rawhide
down.
Or something like that? You know, I'm going to have to look that up.
You look it up.
I'm curious.
Yeah.
Okay.
Put that in something.
So somebody pulled that out of their Jopa. Okay.
Yeah. That's it.
Okay.
I think that's all I've got.
Awesome. That's actually a lot of really good feedback.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Okay, so we do have an actual topic for the day.
2 episodes in a row.
I know. This is very weird. Did you prepare this time? Because last time you left... Well, I didn't even really prepare for the Guns and Arrows episode.
Well, I prepared for it. No, I prepared for it. I had my arguments ready. I still think an army of Legoli is going to beat Revolutionary Soldiers.
You still think so?
I still think so. What was I watching? There's a movie coming out, and it had a lady on there shooting arrows really well. I mean, again, it's a movie, but that's what I'm basing most of my knowledge off of here. But anyways, back to the topic for today.
Yeah. We'll just call it diets and overall health. How about that? Does that work for you?
Fantastic. So yeah, I prepared. I did a lot of experimenting. So did you.
You did?
Yeah.
With dieting?
Yeah. I always do.
Well,
it's like a constant thing. You have to. It's called eating.
I've said this to people in the past that I would love to not have to eat.
We know, because you have no flavor center.
I get no... There's only one thing, well, I would say several things, I guess, that I get real pleasure out of eating, and it's all sweet stuff.
Here's a question for you.
Yeah.
Can you smell things?
Sometimes.
Like, we work in an office park that's adjacent to a trash loading center.
It is?
That was my question was, do you smell the trash in the morning when you come in? Apparently not.
Oh my gosh, no, I don't. I knew that there's a junkyard through the woods. I knew that.
So you never smell it?
Every once in a while, this is literally every once in a while, so maybe once or twice a month, I smell kind of like a pungent smell of something.
Those are the really bad days. There are some really bad days.
I guess my nose just doesn't work. Because does it really smell every day out there?
Almost, yeah.
I had absolutely no idea.
Yeah, it almost disgusts me to come to work here because it's terrible. There's railroad tracks that go by, right? And at least the recycling, they haul it up here and dump it into train cars, and they haul it off somewhere. I don't know where it goes, and that's seriously they just take the garbage trucks and dump it in there. And if you drive by there, because it's only 2 miles away at the most, maybe, you just see a line of trash trucks just waiting to go dump their stuff.
Oh my God, is this the place over past the 7-Eleven over there?
Yeah.
I've driven right by there, and I didn't smell anything.
Oh, jeez. And like 5 miles down the road is the big landfill. That stinks too.
You know,
I know you've been to there. Yeah? No?
I guess, yeah. No, the county one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's disgusting too. But I guess it's got to go somewhere.
You know, I had never used... I don't get colds very often. Let me start with kind of that part. I don't get colds very often. I don't get sick terribly often. But when I do, I usually over-the-counter medicate. I don't go to the doctor unless I'm like half dead.
Okay.
So I think it was like a year or 2 years ago, I had a really bad cold. I think kind of a sinus infection going on, I think. And then one of our coworkers gave me Zicam. It was like the swabs you put in your nose and kind of swazzle around in
Maybe
there.
that's what killed your scent.
I had read an article not long after that says that these can do that.
Yeah.
And I never thought anything about it. Maybe that has had an effect. And I did get hit over the head really hard almost 2 years ago now.
But you've been working here for good, 5 years, though.
Not in this building.
But the other building was closer. Although we were upwind over there, so
Yeah.
It wasn't nearly as often.
So I did get hit in the head. No, it was really, after I got hit in the head, I had it wasn't a severe concussion, but it was bad. I mean, I couldn't even stay awake. My brain got so jostled around in there, and it was kind of mushy. So I had gone to the doctor when they were putting me through concussion protocol.
Yeah.
One of the things that they do based on where I got hit in the head, which is basically right on the crown, right on the top of my head, which is kind of where your sensory input goes.
Yeah.
One of the big sensors for smell is there. So they take these little canisters.
Yeah.
And they're unlabeled, and they open them up, and they hold them under your nose, and they say, "What do you smell?" And woman holds up this thing under my nose and says, "What do you smell?" And I took a big whiff, and I didn't smell anything. I took another big whiff, and she says, "Smell it again." I smelled it again. She says, "Do you smell anything?" And I said, "Well, I think I smell onions." And she looks at me and says, "It's coffee."
Oh.
I couldn't even smell it at all.
Wow.
And it was a similar thing with chocolate. It was coffee, chocolate, and there was one other really pungent smelling thing. I couldn't smell it at all.
Really?
Mm-mm. It was very strange.
That's too bad.
Yeah.
'Cause coffee smells wonderful.
I can still smell those things. I mean, when I go into a Starbucks, I think it smells great.
Yeah, but maybe you're not smelling the coffee. Maybe
I think the sensitivity for the smell is gone. So, like dogs and bears have, 10,000 more sensory inputs in their noses than we do, and they can smell 1 part per billion or whatever it is, and humans can smell 30 parts per billion. I'm probably like 1,000 parts per billion before I smell it. That's weird. Maybe I smell. Do I smell?
I'm not going to cover that today.
I know what. Well, I'm serious. I know I smell when I exercise. Duh, like everybody does. But I try to maintain cleanliness. I mean, have you ever
There's no pungency coming from your side of the recording studio.
Okay, good.
There are some people in the office that have that. You're not one of them.
There's always a few that have hygiene's not exactly up to American standards.
They have opposing viewpoints.
Yes.
On the issue. Anyways, back to
dieting and overall health. We hadn't even gotten anywhere. So, other than the fact that we both have dabbled in dieting a little bit.
Yes.
What kind of diets have you dabbled in over the years?
Well, I don't eat meat anymore. Or land animals.
Yeah, because
so that's a big change.
Right?
Fish and eggs, but they're not really a land animal yet.
What?
I wouldn't consider them eggs.
Did you just say,
they don't have any legs.
Did you just say eggs aren't a land animal?
Right. They're not
You're talking
formed
about,
yet.
You're talking about chicken eggs now.
Yeah.
Okay. You're talking about caviar or, turtle eggs or something like that.
No. So they have those eggs that have the partially formed bird inside.
We're not going to talk about that.
I wouldn't eat those.
That turns my stomach. That grosses me out.
That's terrible. Anyways, and I don't eat milk products.
So you're no dairy.
Right.
And you're no land meat, but you'll eat fish.
Fish, yeah.
Do you have a particular type of fish that you like?
I don't like the oily ones, but anything else is fine.
All the good fish are oily ones.
Would like the really oily ones, like swordfish or...
You don't like tuna?
Tuna's fine. It's not as oily as swordfish.
I guess that's true.
Swordfish, you can squeeze the oil out of it.
Really good tuna, you can squeeze the oil out of that too.
That's okay though. Maybe it's just the way I've had it fixed. It's just... Anyways, but we have one we're focusing on first. We should cover that before we run out of time here.
And that's low carb, right?
Low carb.
You want to go specifically into the low carb.
Let's get into that first.
Yeah, that's what I've been doing.
Yeah.
The last, what's this, July? So March to April, April to May, May to June, June to July. So 4 months.
4 months.
Not quite. Like 3.5 months I've been doing this low-carb diet thing. And it all stemmed from a bet I had with my brother.
Yeah.
My brother is a couple years older than me, and for the last, I'd say, decade of our lives, he has tried, he'll lose a little bit of weight, and he'll gain it back, and he'll lose a little bit of weight. He wasn't obese, certainly. Was he a little overweight? Yeah, of course. We're in our 40s, so, yeah, he was a little overweight, as was I, a little overweight. But overall, I was probably healthier because I'm still really active. I still exercise regularly. I still play sports. He had tried a couple times and had actually done quite well, losing 25 pounds or so. And then, the next time I talked to him, he was like, I gained some weight back, and then I gained some weight back again, and all of a sudden he's back to where he was. Well, he had gotten to a point where he's 6'3".
Oh.
And he was about 250 pounds.
250 or 15?
250, 50. Oh. 250. He was just shy of 250 pounds. And he knew that it was time that he really needed to consider losing some weight. He had a little bit of a belly to him, but not much. I mean, he didn't look like comically overweight or anything. He's a big guy anyway. And so he decided he wanted to lose some weight, and I thought to myself, this is a really good opportunity for me to kind of, brotherly love and camaraderie. Let's go ahead and we'll take this bull by the horns together. So I said, you know what, I'll do it with you. So we were actually, we have a family reunion that's happening at the end of this month. Actually, by the time this episode drops, the reunion will actually be going on. But we meet, and family meets in New Hampshire every year for a week on a camping trip, and there's about 30 of us that go. So my brother and I had decided we were going to do this bet. So we both had a target weight of 215 pounds. So the bet was that we both needed to get to 215 pounds by the reunion. So if we got to 215 pounds by the reunion, then we both technically, quote unquote, win and we're fine. If we don't, then the other one was going to have to buy dinner. Whoever was over the 250 pounds had to buy dinner for the one that was under. Okay. Well, then I kind of altered it a little bit moving onward, but that was kind of the bet. So we both had kind of decided to do our own thing. Well, he was doing this fasting diet, which I didn't think that I was going to be able to do. So I thought, well, how am I going to do this? Like I said, I'm healthy, I'm active, regularly exercising. And I didn't want to lose a lot of muscle mass that I already had. I started at just about 240 pounds, but I'm only 6'1". But I'm more muscular than he is. I've spent a lot more time in the gym over the years, so I have a lot more muscle mass. But I was still probably about 23% body fat. And so went and I started doing this low-carb diet thing, which honestly, for the first week was extremely difficult because I like sweet things. I like cookies. I like ice cream, chocolate. I like candy in general. And all that stuff has a lot of carbohydrates in it. You can't eat a lot of that stuff. Well, a typical human, or typical American, let's say, eats about 300 to 350 carbohydrates a day. So I didn't go what's referred to as the keto route. Yeah. Keto diet is a specific low-carb diet, but that's like ultra-low carb. So you're talking very like low. 25 to 50 carbohydrates a day is considered keto. And that puts your body into, I think it's called ketosis, where basically your body doesn't shut off its ability to burn sugar for fuel, but it basically kickstarts the body into burning fat and protein for fuel instead, which is kind of like the whole idea behind a lot of diets anyway, is, lower your take. So, but anyway, so I didn't go that route because I don't think I could survive on 50 carbs a day. I mean, that's ridiculous because everything has carbohydrates in it, even carrots. Like a carrot, which is kind of a sweet vegetable, has, a medium-sized carrot has like 6 carbs in it. Right. I could eat 5 carrots and then...
Yeah, it's your limit almost.
Yeah, then, you're 30 carbs or whatever. So I just went what is considered low carb. So anything that's below, I think it's 150 carbs is considered low carbs. So on days that I exercise, I keep myself below 125 carbs. On days that I don't exercise, which is only a couple days a week, I keep myself below 100. Okay. And that's actually been really good. I mean, from an overall health standpoint, I feel 100 times better, surprisingly. Yeah. I can eat all the meat I want, which is good. Eat all the fat I want, which is good.
Yeah.
I'm just lowering my intake of things like sugary things.
Right.
I still eat ice cream, but I track everything I eat too. That's actually kind of a key to my dieting. If I weren't doing that,
yeah.
I don't even want to call it dieting because I'm trying to make a lifestyle change. I'm trying to kind of like when you gave up eating meat and dairy products.
Right.
That was a lifestyle change for you. You wouldn't really have considered that a diet. You did it specifically for dieting reasons, but you also had never gone back to it.
Right.
So that's what I'm kind of trying to accomplish with this particular diet. But I've gone from 240 pounds in March, the end of March, to right now, it being mid-July, I'm 209 pounds.
Yeah, it was about, I don't know, probably like 2 months ago when you were talking to me before as you were going through it and you started it. But it was probably about 2 months ago you were telling me about it and you could start seeing the results that you were having.
Oh, yeah.
There's a visible change you could see. So it was enticing. So I thought I would give it a shot as well. I took a little bit different route and had significantly different results, I suppose. I have not stuck with it completely, but it's a little bit different. So I don't log my food like you do. I just kind of figured, well, this is kind of what I eat, and if I can start eating this stuff, then I'll stay below every day. Just because I tried logging it for like a day, and it was just too much effort. I didn't want to invest that much time into it. But I did. I don't eat all the meat like you eat, but I would eat more cheese and nuts, things like that.
Cheese has a surprisingly large amount of calories in it, but there's no carbs in it.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, I didn't track calories. I only went for low carb. So it didn't matter how many calories I was eating, just low carb.
Literally, if you take every single diet that's ever been and you kind of put it all on a chart, the number one factor is your output needs to exceed your input.
Yes.
So
I understand.
If you're eating 3,000 calories of cheese a day, you're going to go backwards.
Right.
It doesn't matter if it's low carb or not.
Well, that's true. Well, I didn't go backwards. Well, I have a certain weight limit that I get to, and then, I mean, for years, it doesn't matter what I do. It was before I stopped eating meat and dairy, I always had this threshold, and I get to that threshold regardless, whether I'm exercising, I'm not exercising, dieting or not, and I just hover there. Then Christmas comes, and then
you go over it.
I go over well above it, and then springtime comes back down again. But I found that even though I was eating, I didn't keep a cap on my calories, but switching to the low carb, so I cut out all the bread because I was eating a lot of bread. I really like bread.
That's got a ton of, it's nothing but carbs, basically.
Yeah. I found I couldn't eat as much, though. So even though I'd say I could eat this whole block of cheese, I just couldn't eat it. Like, I just couldn't, my stomach just wouldn't take it anymore. Like, I would just get to a limit where it's just like, that's too much cheese or too many nuts. It was weird because it ended up I wasn't eating that much more, or I wasn't eating any more. It's just my body just wouldn't take it. It just couldn't eat that much. But I did find out I wasn't as hungry during the day. Did you notice that?
Yeah.
Like if I ate a high carb breakfast or a high protein, low carb breakfast and lunch, I could eat very little and not be hungry at like 10 o'clock, even if I had eaten at like 6 o'clock. So I did notice that change, which was kind of interesting.
And that's really a result of the fact that your body is burning the fats and the proteins, and it takes longer for your body to burn those things than it does to burn high carbohydrate food calories. So like breads and ice cream and candy and stuff like that, your body burns through it so quickly because it's easy to convert to energy. Whereas the protein and the fats takes more for your body to process, takes a lot more time to process through, which is why it's like a slow burn. You can eat a lot of meat. It's like things like beef jerky. That's why that's good to take with you if you're going on like long distance hikes, because you can eat a couple of pieces of beef jerky and that should keep your energy level up for a significant amount of time, unlike eating a Snickers bar.
Well, see,
that's going to spike your energy, but in 20 minutes, you're going to be exhausted again.
Yeah. Well, in the beginning, though, I noticed it wasn't an energy thing. It's just I wasn't hungry. So even though I would eat a food with more volume before, and then when I was eating low carbs, it seemed to make me feel fuller for longer, which was interesting. So I've tried to maintain that part. So make sure I throw in extra protein items, and then that will sustain me from feeling hungry throughout the day. So that was interesting. But I tried to maintain 100 grams of carbs as well. I didn't try to go below that. But I tried to jam all my carbs in end of the day. So it's like protein, and then, I don't know, like brown rice or something at the end. And that seemed to work okay, except, man, the reason I had to quit, I just couldn't think anymore. My brain just wouldn't function. I just couldn't function on low protein or low carbohydrate.
I don't think I had that side effect.
It was just, I could think of stuff, and then I just sit down and just couldn't think of it. Like I couldn't solve my problems at work and stuff. It was just,
Well, that's really strange. I'll have to look. Maybe I'm dumber and I just don't realize it.
Maybe you don't notice that, yeah.
like the sense of smell. Maybe I just didn't know that I didn't know.
So I've had to go back, and once I dialed in some extra more carbs in there, now I'm now being able to think again. So that's a nice return. I'm glad I didn't break that. That would have been unfortunate.
That's one thing that I have done recently, because the whole point was to get I wasn't terribly overweight. I wasn't really overweight at all. I wanted to get my body fat percentage lower. I wanted to get my lean muscle mass higher. Well, it's very difficult, what bodybuilders call a lean cut. So that means you're just cutting fat, and you're not losing muscle in the process.
Right.
That's a very difficult thing to do.
Yes.
I'm not a professional bodybuilder by any stretch of the imagination. Do I work out a lot? Yes. But I don't work out 8 hours a day like those guys do. Yeah. So, I'll go and I'll do a 2-hour workout at the gym, fine, but I'm not going to be there, 8 hours a day. But the whole point was to get my body fat to what is considered like fitness level, like high fitness level for a man is like 13 to 15%.
That's pretty good.
Is quite low body fat percentage for the average American. Like average guys, like anywhere between 20 and 25%. So that's where I was, I started.
Yeah, I think like elite athletes are like 8 to 10, aren't they?
Yeah.
So you don't really.
Like if you're below 13%, you're
professional
quite fit.
Sports player.
Yeah. So I'm at 15% right now. I'm trying to get down to 13%. But if you want to have like a washboard stomach, which I've never had, even when I was extremely fit, you have to be in like the single digits for your body fat percentage. So for me, that was kind of like really the goal, is to just lower my body fat percentage. But I had to lose. I have no doubt that I probably lost 10 to 15 pounds of just straight up muscle.
Yeah.
And even my wife said that. I've always been fairly broad-shouldered guy. And when I started losing weight, after I lost like 15 or 20 pounds, she just looked at me. She's like, "You don't look the same. You look just skinnier." And she was saying that your shoulders have just gotten narrower. What I started doing at that point is I had never considered really the idea of supplementing my protein intake.
Yeah.
But it became very evident that no matter how much protein I ate during the day, I wasn't getting enough protein during the day.
Yeah.
So somebody who exercises as much as I do, I should be at like 150 grams of protein a day.
Right.
To maintain muscle mass.
Right.
I wasn't even close to that. I had to get like 70, 80 grams of protein a day. Well, so then I started drinking these protein shakes to kind of supplement that protein intake.
Mm-hmm.
And since then, I've started building muscle mass back on while still dropping weight. I'm kind of doing a little bit more of a lean cut now, I guess.
Okay.
But I'm not going to lie. The first week of doing that low carb thing was extremely difficult. I think I even told you I started it on a Sunday.
Yeah.
And by that Tuesday, I was ready to quit. I was like, this is ridiculous. I was starving all day long. I remember Tuesday I was at work. I was just so hungry. I left work, and usually, since I leave work early afternoon because I get in so early, I would get home, I would, change, and I would always eat a snack before I went to pick up the kids from school to, get them to do their homework or whatever. I got home that day, and I said, just like out loud, I was talking to myself in my kitchen, which wasn't a good thing. But I was talking to myself, and I said, I'm going to go weigh myself. And if I have seen zero change whatsoever, I know it's only 2 days, and it's dumb. That's like in your head, you're not rationalizing because I was so hungry, right? I said, if I don't see any change at all, I'm just going to eat the snack. I'm just going to eat a bowl of cereal because that's what I was craving at that moment. I went upstairs and I weighed myself, and I am not kidding you. I was 3.5 pounds lighter.
Oh, wow.
Just in 2 days. at the end of that first week, I had lost almost 10 pounds.
That's a lot of weight.
It's a lot of weight. But it was mostly water weight. But it was water weight. You need the water to kind of process all the carbs that you're eating.
Yeah.
Well, when you're not eating that many carbs, your body doesn't hold as much of it. So a lot of that was probably water weight. But a couple of pounds of it was fat weight that was being
right.
That was gone. So that first week was actually really difficult. But I kind of got into the groove, and I really enjoy it. I found some things that now I really enjoy eating.
Yeah.
That I never enjoyed eating before. Ever.
Oh, well, that's good.
Like Greek yogurt, for instance.
Well, that's good stuff.
I hated Greek yogurt. My wife used to eat it all the time, and I was always eating like the Dannon yogurt or whatever, like the stuff that's got a ton of carbs and sugar in it.
Yeah.
But it was good. But she'd be eating Greek yogurt, and I was just like, can I eat that?
Is it sweetened or no?
I eat plain Greek yogurt.
Unsweetened?
Unsweetened plain Greek yogurt.
You probably can't do this because you're on the low carb. But if you get the cold yogurt that's unsweetened and you drizzle some honey on the top of it, oh, that's fantastic. Because then the honey gets like crunchy.
Oh,
and then you can mix it in,
and
then
it brings
the sweetness.
I have a teaspoon of honey every morning in my tea.
Yeah.
So I'm not above eating honey, but that's still like a teaspoon of honey. It has like 7 carbs in it or something. It's a teaspoon of honey. But one of the things that I've found that I enjoy eating more than anything else that I had never, ever, ever eaten before was I'd buy like big tubs of yogurt.
Yes.
Because I eat a lot of yogurt now. But I buy a bunch of plain yogurt because I eat that every single day. I also eat a little bit of vanilla yogurt. So it's sweetened a little bit, but it's still like a serving of the plain yogurt has like 5 carbs in it. A serving of this vanilla flavored Greek yogurt has like 11 carbs in it. So it's twice as many, but it's still not a lot of carbs.
Right.
But I'll take that vanilla yogurt and strawberries, because strawberries, surprisingly, for a fruit, very low carb.
Yeah.
As far as fruits go.
I guess there's not a lot of sugar or sucrose in those.
No.
Because people put a lot of sugar on them.
Yeah.
Or a lot of people tend to put sugar on it. Cuts the acidity.
If you take strawberries and a little bit of vanilla yogurt, it was absolutely awesome.
Yeah.
Loved it. So now I eat it all the time.
Yeah, I mentioned I like the frozen blueberries too. Mix those in. Gets nice purple. Looks pretty too.
Yeah. A lot of the berries are actually fairly low carb.
Yeah.
So you can blackberries, raspberries, blueberries, I think, are fairly low in carbs. Melon, you can actually eat quite a bit of, like cantaloupe.
Interesting.
I don't know about honeydew. I haven't checked into that because I'm not a big honeydew fan anyway. But cantaloupe, you can eat a good amount of that. And watermelon, that's mostly water. But things like apples, anything like a pulpy fruit, forget it. That stuff's super high. Like bananas, forget it.
Like
one banana's like 40 carbs.
Yeah.
I remember I had, we always kept bananas in the house, and I would eat a banana, not every day, but, at least every other day I was eating a banana. The girls love bananas, and I just hadn't had one this whole week because I was trying to like shock my system into the low carb thing. So for the first couple weeks, I tried not to eat anything that had a lot of that I knew had carbs in it. I knew bananas did. I didn't know how many they had. Well, I ate one, and I went to register it in my little fitness app thing, and I was like, what? 40 carbs for that? This was half of my day's intake in that one piece of fruit. I haven't touched a banana since. Wow. Love bananas, but I won't eat them.
So since I've quit, not quit, like dialed it back, I've noticed now that I have a real sensitivity to sugars. Have you noticed that?
Absolutely.
So if I eat something that's high in sugar, man, I just get a rush, and then I'm just wiped out for like a good hour and a half. It's weird.
Oh, it put me to sleep before.
Yeah.
I think it spikes my blood sugar, and then when it starts to fall, I just fall asleep.
Oh, yeah?
So that happened to me before I started doing this. But now, it's like just yesterday afternoon. My wife's a school teacher, so she's off for the summers. Kids were home with her. I came home, and why she does this to me, I don't know. She bought me a treat. I'll use that and put that in quotations the other night. She bought me a half a gallon of chocolate Panda Paws ice cream, because that's my vice.
Yeah.
Ice cream is my vice.
Chocolate Panda Paws.
A half of a cup, which is actually quite a bit of ice cream. A half a cup of ice cream, 25 carbs or something. It's a lot for something so small, but that's my indulgence. I will indulge in that, but I still keep my carbs below where I need to be. But that means I sacrifice something else in my diet that day to do that. But I did that yesterday, and within half an hour I was asleep. I was literally upstairs laying on my bed asleep because the sugar spike, even eating things like that, physically upset my stomach.
Oh.
So like really sweet things.
Yeah.
We went to dinner last week, and one of the things that we had, I ate a very healthy dinner. It was a sirloin salad. So it was a salad that had sirloin steak as the protein in it, and just a little bit of blue cheese dressing, and it was fine. The salad was great, and we decided to have dessert. We didn't want to each get one because we're both in that. We're not both doing low carb, but she's doing her own diet thing, and I'm doing mine. So we got one dessert to share, and it was like a piece of chocolate peanut butter pie, which is awesome. We got that. We shared it. It wasn't a big piece, but I felt every single bite of that pie that I ate.
Yeah. For
the next 3 hours. Just felt it in my stomach. So like stuff like that now, when I eat it, kind of makes me sick.
Ugh.
Yeah, it's really weird. It just goes to show you how bad that stuff probably is for you.
Yeah.
And since you kind of start eating that stuff as a child, and at least in this country anyway,
right,
you don't notice it. And as you're an adult, you're kind of accustomed to it, so you don't think too much about what this is actually doing to your body.
Yeah.
So I tend to stay away from that kind of stuff now.
Yeah, because I've noticed if we have a particularly starchy dinner, and if I decide to have dessert, kids have dessert after dinner. If I have dessert too, man, when it's bedtime for them, I'm about wiped out. But if I keep trying to think, man, if I can just power through for like an hour, like right before I go to bed, my energy just spikes right back up. It's just the weirdest thing. It's like now I'm ready to do stuff, but now I'm just exhausted from the day. But it's just weird how it comes back. But I've noticed too with like French fries. Man, French fries are fantastic, especially like the Five Guys French fries. I used to be able to just sit and eat those.
You don't like oily fish, but you'll sit there and eat a pile of oil.
They're not that oily.
With a little bit of potato in it.
They're not considered greasy fries.
What? Five Guys? What are you kidding?
It could be worse. But anyways, I used to be able to eat those nonstop because they give you that giant bag. I can't eat those anymore either. And it's kind of sad because I used to just enjoy eating fries. But man, I can't put them in there anymore. It's like just body has changed after going on this experiment. I guess it's for the better. It's peanut oil though. It's kind of healthy.
I mean, peanut butter. That's another one. There's so many carbohydrates in peanut butter.
It's not that bad.
Well, I guess it depends. If it's like all natural peanut butter, it's not nearly as many.
It's just peanuts. But if it's like Jif or something.
Oh, yeah. That stuff.
That's like all sugar.
Yeah, that's like half sugar.
Yeah, because we had... My wife was bought some Jif for a recipe that she was making, some kind of cookie. She didn't end up making it. Her old recipe called for Jif, but we haven't bought Jif in 10 years. And it was sitting in the closet. I was like, well, we might as well eat it. Man, I opened it up. I couldn't eat it. It was too much. Now my kids, I'm like, this is fantastic. It's so good. It's because it's just
loaded with sugar.
Yeah. I couldn't take it. I think it's still in there, but
I mean, I know we're pushing our limits already anyway, but I do have a question for you.
Yeah.
Just as far as your children go.
Yes.
Do all of your children really like sweet stuff? Or do you have a mix?
No, they like sweet stuff. I mean, they all have, like, candy. They have differing tastes.
It's really strange. I only have 2 kids.
Yeah.
My younger one loves sweet stuff.
Yeah.
If you fed her candy, breakfast, lunch, and dinner every day, she'd be a happy camper. My older one, not a big fan.
Yeah.
When we take the kids out for Halloween, and we've talked about this before, we'll let them go out. They can trick-or-treat as long as they want, and they'll get a giant bag of candy. They come home, they're allowed to keep 20 pieces. That is it. 20 pieces of candy. My younger daughter will plow through that 20 pieces of candy like you wouldn't believe.
Yeah.
If we let her eat it all that night, she totally would.
Yeah.
We generally restrict them to a couple pieces a day. They can put it in their lunch or whatever. My older daughter, she still has a bag, I would have no doubt, in the cupboard from last October, from last Halloween. That still has candy. She just doesn't eat it. She doesn't have a big sweet tooth.
Oh.
She must get that from her mother because I know my younger daughter got the sweet tooth from me. I love that stuff. Or I used to. I can't really eat it anymore. It just kind of makes my stomach sick.
Yeah.
I think we should wrap it up today, Jason. I know we didn't get too deep into all the different types of dieting, but really what it comes down to, folks, is your output needs to exceed your input. So if you're trying to lose weight, There's low calorie, there's low carb, there's low fat. All of these diets, all they specifically do is just try to lower the amount of calories you take in as opposed to the calories you put out every day. One tip that I would say to anyone out there who's listening, who's trying to lose weight, keep track of what you're eating for a couple of months, 2 months, 3 months, whatever, and you'll start to see a pattern in your eating. You'll start to notice that you do tend to eat more calories than you probably think you do, and then you'll kind of help you alter your diet to make you a little healthier. That's my 2 cents on the whole subject. I think that's going to do it for us for today. Jason, you have anything else you want to put in there?
No, I don't have anything else. Just remember to send us an email if you want some propaganda to distribute.
Yes.
Just don't get us in trouble.
Yeah, don't get us in trouble.
Don't put it in places where it shouldn't be.
I say the opposite. Put it in places it shouldn't be, because then we get noticed.
Don't get us in trouble.